This is Alan Crockett, your instructor, and I was going to show you a little bit about photo retouching. So the first thing you want to do is open up your Photoshop application. You can just click on that and open it up if you have it in your dock especially, or you might have to go find it. It will take you to your home page, and you can see I've been working on these recently. So the easiest way is just to click on it and whatever you've been working on recently. But if you hadn't been working on something recently, you can go to File, Open, and then you can navigate to what it is you want to open. And so I forget where it is. Let's see. Old family photo with mom. Okay. So anyways, that's how you can open it. And when you open it, you'll see that this is kind of a washed out picture a little bit. And so we're going to fix that. The first thing they have you do is go to your crop tool, which is over here on the left side. You're going to get the crop tool. And the straighten tool is up here. And you're going to actually go and straighten this picture. This one's pretty straight, but you might want to just kind of make sure you got it totally straight by lining up the bottom. And you can see like it's about 1%. Once you got it straightened out, you click yep up here on the top, that check mark, and then they would have you crop this, but because I like this little round part, I'm going to use the round rectangle tool, which is down here. It says round rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a little round rectangle around this to try to preserve that quality as my way of cropping it. And you can see when you do that, that you've got this little box comes up of properties, and you can change the properties of that round rectangle by clicking on the amount of pixels. And I want a little more curvature, and 40 is about where I was happy, and so that automatically, because this was linked, changed all of them to 40, so that's good. I had chosen this color because it's kind of like an old photo color, and you'll see too that it pretty much blocks out your entire image. If you go up here to the top, there's that rectangle spot there. You can say subtract from front shape instead of new layer, and then you'll see it does the opposite. And you can see it's pretty centered. Right now, if I wanted to move it one way or the other, I could, but since it's pretty centered, I'm going to go with it. Now what you'll want to do, if you like the way it is, you're going to go to Layer and Flatten Image. And that's where you go down all the way to the bottom. It says Flatten Image. You're going to flatten the image, and that way it's right there. It's done. Okay, so it's one image. Now, the beauty of Photoshop, if you ever are in this situation where you did something you didn't like, you can go to Edit, and you can undo, and you can always do that. So another fast way is to use the command button in the Z or the control button in the Z, and they show you these keyboard shortcuts right here on the side. They'll tell you what to do when you do these. See, as command Z. Okay, so anyways, once you get that, the textbook was trying to show you how to adjust the image in terms of getting the color right. One way to do it, super fast, down dirty, is to go to the auto color, and you can see, boom, ta-da, gets it all fixed up for you. Control Z, you can see what it looks like before you did that. Now, the way they showed you is to create an adjustment layer, and the nice thing about adjustment layers is you can always undo any of these layers and see what it looks like without it. Whereas if you do the auto one, it's going to blend with that layer and you're going to be stuck with it. So we'll do the adjustment layers, and you'll see if you hover over the things that tells you what each one is. And we're going to start with curves. And in the textbook, they told you about these little eyedroppers. Now, the thing about these eyedroppers is they make doing the curves a lot easier. So you click on the one that's the lightest. It has a little bit of white in the bottom of it. And that's for clicking in the white areas. You know, you don't want to click on a really bleached out area because that'll tell it that's beyond white. You want it to be kind of where the white is somewhat what it should be. And that just tells the whole photograph that area is white. And by the same token, if you click on the darker one and you find a place that's dark in the photograph, you tell the whole photograph that's the darkest area. And you can see how that looks right there compared to our original washed out. You have a more intense image. The levels are a really complex thing, but it's a really good way of being more accurate because you can really adapt where you're drawing your information from, and I highly recommend it. Now, a lot of times these old photographs are washed out in a way that they lose a lot of the yellow and a lot of the red. So if you go to color balance, you can adjust the color balances of these images. The nice thing about color balance, you can adjust shadows, midtones, and highlights. And I'm going to start with the highlights because a lot of times those get really washed out. And so you can see I'm moving it over just a little bit. And I want to recommend that you do things subtly. And if you do too much, you can run into the problem of just making things look garish or cartoony almost. If that's what you want, then that's a good way to go. But start off maybe by trying them like little. A lot of times the shadows, it's kind of nice to have the contrast between the warm highlights, midtones, and the cool shadows. So I'm going to leave those. And then what you're going to be doing after you get all this done is you can kind of see what the effect of what you did. It's fairly subtle. Look at that. Barely just kind of warmed it up just a little bit. It does make a difference. But then what they had you doing was to go through the picture and get rid of all these little spots. Now, the best way to navigate in the picture is to use this thing called a navigator, and it looks like a little compass. If it's not showing up on your thing, you go to Window and you click on Navigator, and it'll make it show up. But I've got it right here, so I can use this little thing between the two mountains to make it bigger and zoom in. I can grab and move around in the picture, and so that really helps. And you'll see right there, I'm seeing some spots that I could get rid of. This is one of the funnest tools to play with. It's called the Spot Healing Brush tool, and it's incredible. You just click on it and it'll get rid of it. Notice how I'm clicking on these things and it's not doing anything right now. It's because I have highlighted still color balance, so it's only working on that color balance layer, which is fairly subtle and you won't see anything. So the best thing to do here, click on your background, make sure you're on your background, and then look, ta-da, it gets rid of these. So I could spend a lot of time going through these, clicking on all these things, getting rid of stuff. And you guys would be really bored, but I'm going to just show you a few of these. See, it works like a charm. It's really kind of fun. You can get rid of flaws in the concrete. It's incredible tool. Anyways, in this assignment, have fun with just going through and getting rid of spots. If this comes up, just click back on the background and it'll go away. That's just telling you if you want to adjust your brush size. Like say if you want to get really nitpicky, you can reduce the size down, or really general, you can go up. Anyway, once you've gone through and gotten rid of all those little spots that you want to get rid of, now's the time in their assignment when they were getting rid of that boy who was standing there. Now this one, there's a patch here, which conveniently you can use this tool called the patch tool. I actually like the patch in the tool because it kind of actually makes a whole statement to the whole picture that's a lot different than me getting rid of the patch. But since this is an assignment, I'm going to show you getting rid of the patch. Anyway, you kind of draw a basic line around this area you want to get rid of. It's pretty good to be kind of tight with it and not get too crazy, because it will make a difference depending how much of the pant leg I got. And see these little arrows? This allows you to move this out of there. And so you can take this and just drag it over somewhere else, and you can use whatever information is in this other thing. See how it kind of lines up, and I can kind of use it to kind of cheat a little bit. And it gives me an instantaneous patch that uses this leg to kind of cover up that leg. And you can see it's not perfect, but that's where they have you go in the assignment and use the what's called the clone stamp tool to kind of gussy it up and fix it up. If you want to see what it looks like without these little, they call them marching ants, the selection tool, you deselect, and that's when you hit Command D, and that gets rid of that selection. You can see I've got some work to do right here. By using the clone stamp tool, I can use this, and I can find an area that seems like it will fit into here nicely, and so this is almost like painting in this form. So you can kind of like do that. You can change the opacity of what you're doing so that it's subtle. If you want to just add just a little something to it without being too grand. But definitely there's problems with that. It's going to be some work to clean it up, but I don't want to bore you guys too much. So anyways, once you get there, you can see what this would look like if you didn't do this by going to Edit, Undo, Clone Stamp Tool, and you can keep moving back as far back as you want, and decide, well, I actually like that better, or whatever you decide. But there's also this thing called History Tool, which will allow you to kind of like go. You can see I've undone these histories. I can move forward in history or backward in history. This is a really nice way of like knowing, messing around with where you're at. But anyways, go back to the spot here. I see a really nice spot I want to get rid of. Once you get all these things together, then you want to probably zoom back out. You can use the navigator tool to zoom back out, but another way to zoom back out is to hit the Z button, and it'll automatically put your little into the zoom tool. And if you hit fit screen, everything just goes back to the screen. I love that tool, is being able to get back to the fit screen thing. It's a great way to see what you've done. Now, they had you finish this whole assignment by doing this thing called Smart Sharpen, and that's a filter up here, right? So you go to the filter, and then you go to Sharpen, and then down here is the Smart Sharpen. You got to make sure you're still on the background layer, or it won't work. And I'm moving this, but I want to be moving this is where I'm kind of zooming in. So if I zoom in on my head here, you can see the effect of Smart Sharpen, and it's already set to an amount of 64. If I do more, you can see the effect of it. It's really, you see almost the photograph grain show up, which you kind of don't want, I don't think. So I'd say, like I was saying before, subtlety is good. The radius, you can kind of take it up or down. And then reduce noise, you can have it really reduce noise, and then you can do different things like lens blur, Gaussian blur, or motion blur. The assignment was talking about lens blur, and it's pretty good. Let's take a look at what it looks like comparatively. So that idea of toggle last state, you can look at what it looks like before, and then look like it now. So anyway, it's barely subtle. I mean, you can't really see anything. It's like almost invisible. Yeah, so anyway, not much change there, but it probably got rid of a little bit of problems. And so I think the last thing they did was the, what was it called? The noise, dust and scratches. Get rid of dust and scratches, and you can throw that in there, and that kind of gets rid of some of the dust and scratches automatically for you. But you still, I think the healing brush tool is a much better one to use. So anyways, once you get this all saved, all done, you can flatten this whole image into one thing instead of having all these different layers. And the way to do that is you go to Layer, Flatten Image, right? And boom, it's one thing. Now, in order to post this into your assignment, you're going to need to export it. And so if you go to File and you go to Export, you can do a quick export as a PNG. And that'll allow you to export it wherever you want, whether it's the desktop or, in my case, the old family pictures. And you can save it, rename it like version 3, and hit save, and then you can post it on the assignment page. I hope this helped you a little bit, and I'll try to do some hopefully shorter videos next time, but there's a lot to learn, and looking forward to meeting all of you in the class. Thank you.